Tonight's show is dedicated to my dad, Art Seligman. His nickname before I was born was Scorch because he had a temper. It was my favorite of his nicknames, so rest in peace, Scorch. I love you, Dad. Time for the Pucking Around podcast. Puck around and find out.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Pucking Around podcast. I'm Cam, your local Boston Bruins fan, and I am joined today with the usual band of misfits, Alex, Matt, Harry, and Rick. Before we start, all of us here at the Pucking Around family extend Rick and his family our deepest condolences for the loss of his father, Arthur, aka Scorch, and as mentioned earlier, this episode will be dedicated to him. We have a wonderful episode for you all tonight with our usual roundup, some talk behind the recent trade deadline, and that hot as hell wild card race in the East and the West. So sit back, relax as we get the Zambonis out here to resurface the ice. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
I just went shopping for 2 hours, so now I'm glad to be home.
I'm okay.
Well, that was one way to lead things off.
What a statement. I'm all right.
I'm okay. I went shopping. Harry's
I'm
laughing, and I don't think nobody knows where he is.
Maybe that's on Camp asking us how we're doing.
Sam, you pick a winner there?
Can you believe they're laughing at?
It's a terrible thing to laugh. I mean, when you come in with like,
Okay, laughter's the best thing.
Laughter is the best medicine.
I've had an okay day.
I've had better days.
Well, you know, never mind. I can't. It's a bad joke, but I guess I'll say it anyway. Like, you know, at least you know you're kicking.
The bucket?
Well, no, someone else did that, but
Is it my time now?
You're horrible. Oh my god!
Wow.
Well, I'm glad everyone is doing well, aside from Rick.
Harry's having a little trouble over there, though.
Yeah, Harry's peeing himself. It's just this is a hot mess. All right, guys, we need to restart.
No, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. All right. So, what do we talk about tonight? You're going to introduce that, or what are we doing?
Guys, you don't listen to my monologues ever. Like, I take us in. I do such a fucking damn good job in this bitch.
Yeah,
We're gonna start with that usual talk.
Scramblified all of our brains with that last joke. Like, I don't think any of us
scramblified the brain. Those are, ladies and gentlemen, if you want an English lesson, talk to Alex Fournette.
The language of Alex is brought to you by brain farts.
Crickets.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Literal crickets.
Brought to you by Schoolhouse Rock. Today we learn what does Alex mean when he talks.
Scramblified means your brain is mush.
I need an Alex dictionary or whatever the hell you want to call it. Your version of a dictionary.
I got it. Listen, I have a bunch of quotes that no one will fucking understand, but as I explain them, you'll think
we can hardly fucking understand you with your Boston accent.
That kind of fits.
Oh God, you just sometimes just
you're
like a pimple on the bottom of your ass. Like, you know, you're just a pain. But
now
you're there.
We've been shut down by the censors.
Over.
All right, let's start talking about our teams for the week. I'll start because Rick apparently is in a rush.
Before I have an aneurysm.
No, it's not. I think we're not supposed to swear for the first 5 minutes of the show.
5 minutes? Do you have any idea how long that is for a Bostonian? That's an eternity.
I know. Okay, we only
That's got to be a record for
you.
Cam.
Might as well put me in the grave.
60 seconds or 2 minutes without breaking that.
You need me to go without swearing for 5 fucking. I can't even go 10 seconds.
The thing is, we're not. You know, there's no ads on our shows, so we can swear all we want, really.
No, you're
thank God for that. Our sponsors, whenever we get those, if we get those at this point, with the amount of language
better
we
fucking
do,
like swearing.
That's what I'm
Speaking
saying.
of this
Watch
stream,
it fucking mouth.
Jesus.
This podcast brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Raid, shout us out.
What the fuck? And now we get.
What did he say? Wait, what did he say? Is that his like 10th drink? What is that? He slurred that.
He's freaking what? This man has toilet paper.
This dude's using toilet paper instead of napkins.
This is no longer a hockey podcast.
I am downstairs.
And when people
this
said,
is all I have in my room.
When people said Harry is full of shit, there's the proof right there.
No, Harry has other things in the room. He also has a bottle of lotion next to that.
And he froze.
Oh my
Look at the way
God,
he froze.
you
Perfect.
disgusting fuck. All right, hold on. Wait, we're not at 5 minutes yet. I'm trying to look at it.
No,
So
we're
I can
good. We're
start
good.
swearing again.
We're not
I can swear?
monetized, so it don't matter.
All right, well, good. I'm going to
We
start my
already
fucking Bruins.
swore. Who cares?
No, I
Can't
didn't.
lead us off.
Prove it. All right, the Bruins went 2-1. I had the privilege last week of going to the game where we absolutely got stomped by the St. Louis Blues, so that was about as fun as a sandpaper hand job. The other games of the week went well. We beat Alex's Flyers, which is always a damn pleasure, especially seeing the look on Alex's face. It's so amazing. Yeah, take that finger and shove it, buddy. I got really nothing else to say, except I'm going to say I am surprised Jake DeBrusk is doing extremely well over his last.
Did you forget another game in there?
Should we let him?
Montreal? Oh, I did forget Montreal. Yeah, but we're always used to beating them.
Because we almost beat you. No, it's just because we almost beat them. That's all.
Almost only counts in fucking horseshoes and hand grenades.
I don't care.
I wasn't counting almost. That goal almost went in. Ooh.
I mean, it's a rebuilding Habs. You should have destroyed us.
I'm
you
so
had
scared.
to listen after overtime. You literally had to go to the bathroom and change that diaper.
With what? I could care.
Yeah, look. Hey, do you think Matt's hoodie's gonna have something to say tonight?
I have no idea. Let's get to it, man.
Look that Matt's hoodie made it.
Darth Mortimer. Oh, I'm sorry. What's his name
Nordimus
tonight?
Prime.
Nordimus Prime tonight. Yeah, damn. What are you gonna transform into, baby? All right, talk to me about the Montreal Canadiens.
Who wants to go? Okay. I'll go then. I mean, of course.
I think Rick
This is how I'll put it.
That might be a personal record.
This is how I'll put it. We played the Columbus Blue Jackets, first game of the week. We were outplayed, but we won. We played Boston the next game, and
you lost.
We outplayed them, and we lost. And then we played Calgary, and I don't know, they forgot to show up. But I think it's because Marty St. Louis, the thing with him having to go and take a leave of absence indefinitely, I think that affected them against Calgary.
No, what? Why? I knew. I saw that he had to take a leave of absence. I don't know what it's about.
Nobody knows anything.
None of us
Nobody knows.
May have spilled something on that.
David Savard
said,
David Savard said, they're thinking about they're dedicating the game to his son.
Yeah.
They're gonna win it for his
16-year-old son.
That's all we know.
So,
wait, I'm sorry. What happened with his son? Hopefully he's okay.
We don't know. Something
well.
with his son. He's left the team for an indefinite period because of family reasons. That's it.
Well,
else.
Whatever the reason is, Coach Martin St. Louis, hopefully everything is well.
Yes.
We wish you all the best from
we
the
wish
puck.
him all the best. Hopefully it works out to a
Absolutely.
positive ending.
Wishing the best, Mr. St. Louis.
Yep, one of my favorite bolts of all time, buddy. Go for it. Love you.
Unfortunately, my feeling on that is he's not going to be back this season. I'm not saying there's anything like it's a tragedy because we don't know. But whatever it is, I don't think he's going to make it back before the end of the season because we're almost done. We're not making the playoffs.
And as much animosity as there is between us here at the Pucking Around family, we always believe that hockey is indeed for everyone and that it is a community that brings everyone together. So, Marty, hopefully the best to you. We don't know you on a personal level, but still, that does not matter.
Isn't it? Even if this was Brad Marchand, I would say the same thing.
Yep.
Exactly.
Even if this was Sidney Crosby or Jenny Malkin, I would say the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alex just wanted to chime in there. Speaking of Alex, how's the
quick for next week? Next week they're on the road, all late games. I hate it. Edmonton,
Western Canada,
Vancouver, Edmonton, Vancouver. They should lose, and Seattle they should win or have a chance to win, and it'll probably be the other way around. I will probably do well against the two teams they should lose against, and they'll probably do shit against Seattle. There you go.
Harry's frozen.
All right, Harry, what do you got to say, buddy? You look like Harry Rice. Yes, you have your hand raised. Go ahead, Harry. Yes.
I will say I think we have the potential to go 3-0. For some reason, the past couple of years we've been great against the Oilers and Canucks, so I think that we could honestly sweep this week. It's not going to happen, but there is that weird little bit where we could. Yeah, I mean, the Oilers are nothing without McDavid, and clearly we know how to defend him well. So
yeah, but have you seen Vancouver? They're kind of doing things.
They just lost to Washington. I don't know. Demko's dinged up.
Okay, Washington. They're underestimating Washington though. Like Washington is still in it. I don't know how they're still in it, but we'll
they have a minus 30 goal differential, and they're still in it. How is that even possible?
And by the way, Cam, you saw how we played you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm not knocking
against Vancouver.
I'm not knocking Montreal just because
we
they
could
suck.
do that against Vancouver, and the thing is, it's
hard-pressed.
unlikely, and they'll probably do that.
Yeah. Quick thing about Seattle though, if any other coach except Ron Hextall was their coach,
Dave Haxtell, wrong idiot.
Dave Haxtall. If Dave Haxtall wasn't their coach, you would have an absolute hard time against them.
I told y'all.
That team deserves better.
Haxtell is a fraud.
Who's that?
He deserves way better.
Seattle's head coach. He is the biggest friggin' wooden board nitpick.
That team.
But they'll probably beat us because, like Calgary,
but that team should be struggling.
They should have beat Calgary, and they should beat Seattle the way they're playing right now. But they probably won't, and they'll do well against the other two.
I still stand to say Seattle should not be struggling the way they are now with that team. But that's
it's that coach, apparently. I mean,
it is the coach. The coach is the biggest issue of that team. That team is talented top to bottom, I think. I have to say,
I was surprised
they're talented enough. That's for sure.
I was surprised he got that job.
I was surprised he wasn't launched into the sun yet, but hopefully that's an off-season move.
I called it from
Bruce Boudreau.
Oh my god, no, poor Bruce. Poor Bruce. He's a fucking national treasure.
I hope he takes a little more time to get when he takes a job and make sure he doesn't have a stupid ownership that does that to him.
Yep.
Again.
So a quick fuck you to Vancouver for the way you handled Bruce Boudreau.
Yeah, and they don't deserve honestly, they don't deserve where they are right now because of that.
Yeah. That is an excellent coach that you just passed on because you guys are a bunch of
not just passed. That was horrible what they did to him. I thought
the way they handled it was horrible, but I'd be lying if I said Rick Tocchet hasn't done a great job at that.
No, he has, but I'm still saying that was a horrible thing they did.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah, but that team is leagues better than what it was when Bruce was leading it. That's the problem. They never gave Bruce
better, but I wouldn't say it's leagues better. I think just Tocchett's done an incredible job.
Sure.
Like he's
for
done
the first time,
fantastic work there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? A blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while, right?
Right. He did nothing for the Coyotes.
Well, the Coyotes don't do anything for the Coyotes.
Okay, but I'm saying, I guess you're right. That was a coach that just needed a good team in front of him to show what he's got. You're probably right.
All right, Alex.
He was a good player.
Alex, hit me quick with the Flyers.
Oh, quick! You said quick. You said
start the timer.
Now.
Start the timer.
We went 1-2 this week. Was not a good week. Beat the Sharks 3-2 in a game that was a lot closer than it should have been. They kind of dominated. I'm gonna shove that phone up your ass, Harry, if you show it again.
Look, Matt's hoodie has a face. Matt's hoodie has a face.
And second game we played against Toronto. That game was just garbage. They allowed 3 goals.
How could you lose to Toronto, man?
They have our number. That's the 8th game in a row they've beaten us. I don't know what it is with the Leafs that we just can't beat recently. But they've beaten us now 8 consecutive games. It's the longest streak in the two teams' history against each other. Flyers just looked terrible out the gate. Urson looked leaky as fuck in the first period. They pulled him, and they played a better second, but then all the dam broke down again in the third. And that game, they ended up losing 6-2. Then the Bruins game, in which they played a much better game. I think they outplayed the Bruins in the first. Second period was probably more the Bruins outplaying us. And in the third, it was a 4-minute period. 4-minute chunk of time in that period where the dam just completely broke down. Bruins broke out 3 goals in that, went up 5-2. Flyers fought back, where probably goal of the year for the Flyers happened with Morgan Frost dropping a beautiful between-the-legs goal on Jeremy Swayman. Holy crap. Fortunately, came in a losing effort. Flyers lost 6-5, but at least showed some resilience, which they haven't been able to all week. Flyers player of the week for sure is Cam York. He is budding into a first-pairing defenseman before our eyes. He is putting up over 20 minutes a night. His course, he's been excellent. He's been great on both sides of the ice. 9 points in his last 10 games. He has been balling.
And Alex on Twitter said Cam York was better than Cole Caulfield.
I did not say that. Hold on.
That's what I read into it.
I said, what I said was the Flyers will not regret passing on Cole Caulfield as much as I originally thought they would.
Yeah, I know.
When they don't have any goal scoring, I think they will.
They have a generational prodigy coming. He's going to be the next decade. Don't let me go with that again.
We already.
But listen. But anyway, before I give Harry an aneurysm, we ended up going 1-2. Coming up continues our 7-game gauntlet. Leafs again on Tuesday.
Loss.
Thursday is
You
at
put a goalie in
Carolina,
that game?
and then Bruins again on Saturday. I'll be happy if we win one of those games. Realistically,
I think you'll take the Bruins.
I don't. When have we? They've got a long streak against us too. I think if there's any game we're going to win, it might be Carolina.
The Bruins historically in matinee games have not performed.
Matinee games, you always kick our ass. What the hell is going to be the difference now?
I historically in numbers, the Bruins do not perform well in matinee games.
I want you to find me a matinee game where the Flyers beat the Bruins in the last.
I never said. I said
also historically, the Bruins did not do well against Montreal in the 70s or 80s or 90s.
Oh well.
But anyway, lose to Toronto, win in overtime against Carolina and shock me, and then get Henny Dick by the Bruins like we always do. I'll go 1 and 2.
Who's got the heavy dick on the Bruins?
Henny Dick.
Oh,
He's gonna get Henny dicked, meaning that he drank a lot of Hennessy and he has a flask.
I guess we'll lose like that 5-1. I don't know what it is with the Bruins. They always
He's got the limp
Toronto
alcohol.
always kick our ass.
I wasn't sure if he was saying he has a tiny dick, or I wasn't sure what he was saying.
Henny, H-E, like Hennessy.
Yeah, okay. I heard tiny. I don't know why. I looked at you. I said, "Yeah, tiny works."
But this is final thought on this.
Hey, listen, I get a pass.
Has been excellent. He's going to be key in this.
I get a pass.
This is going to be a stressful final month. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs. I put us at about 60% right now. It's 5 teams: Philadelphia, Washington, the Islanders, Detroit, and Tampa Bay fighting for 3 spots.
What's your clock say now?
And that's it.
I think that went. I think you used Matt's time as well. I
did pretty good. I was shorter than you 3 guys.
Not me.
No, you weren't.
Look,
you psycho.
They started at 6:20, and I started at 12. It's 16:40 right now, and
I don't know whose clock Alex is watching, but
he's watching. Okay, we
right.
Just bypass Matt because I don't know. Is he there?
I'm
Matt.
Matt, stop, damn it.
Why does he look like one of those things on the Star Wars? You know those little
Jawa?
Looks like an Ewok.
Ewok. That's it. He looks like an Ewok.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
All right. Anyway, we're going around the league next. We got a couple topics tonight. Our big 3 we're going to be doing is a recap of the trade deadline, the Eastern Conference wild card / playoff race, and then the Central Division out west. I believe we should start with a little recap of the trade deadline. Boys, what was the biggest move for you that shocked you guys?
Fucking Vegas.
Thomas Hurdle, I assume.
Thomas Hurdle, obviously.
LTIR, LT.
I cannot
stand it. Suddenly feeling better.
Vegas has no loyalty to their players. They're like, yeah, this was great. Thanks for your time here. We're going to trade you because we
Kelly
can.
McCrimmon for you. And I said this to Rick when we made our little trade deadline recap video. Like every move he made, I mean, they were Kelly McCrimmon moves. He was like, I want to win more, and you know what? I don't give 2 shits what I have to do it. I'm going to do what I have to do.
Everyone in this fucking podcast said there's no way Thomas Hurdle's getting moved because of that contract.
Except
for Alex. Alex was just like, nah, they could do it. They could find it. I'm like, dude, no way. 8 years,
I want to take my
no
victory lap for that. I called Thomas Hurdle was going to get moved. And he did. I didn't expect them to retain salary. That part caught me off guard.
It's the Sharks. They don't know what they're fucking doing. They also got fleeced out of a first-round pick.
Can we talk about that real quick? The Sharks have used all 3 of their salary retention spots, and they're all multi-year contracts.
Yeah, they're
to be fair, they're not going to be good for like 3 or 4 more years. So I think it's
3 or 4, like a decade, maybe 2.
I wouldn't say a decade. I'll say 6 or 7. Like that's terrible.
8 years. Yeah, I think that's good.
What are they doing?
Wow.
That's crazy.
They're tanking.
Hurdle still has, 6 years left after this year?
There was a kid born in the States 2 years ago that's going to be a superstar down, and that's why they're doing it. They're tanking for that.
Oh, Gavin McKenna?
You're looking at me like I'm serious.
Gavin McKenna is coming next year, folks. That's the next big prodigy.
Here's the trade that really surprised me. Bo Byron from Casey.
That's the one I was going to say. 2 days before. That came out of
Colorado lost that.
And that came out of nowhere.
Buffalo won that too. I get why Colorado did it because they did need a second line center. And Middlestat can fill that. but Bo Byram is a stud. That guy's got first-line deep pairing potential. Now
not when you have Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power.
He is a first-line defenseman. That there's no question. Good. I'm sorry. Good luck to you, Buffalo fans.
All three of them have potential of first deep pairing potential.
Good luck to you, Buffalo fans, paying Dahlin, Power, and Byram.
This is what you know. What
I would do it if
they're already locked up long term.
I was just thinking, isn't this going to be the same kind of problem like we had, say, with Carey Price being overpaid, or Toronto has with, isn't that going to be that? Isn't that going to be that down the road? They're going to be too star defenseman heavy.
Yeah, I would say it's more closer to Toronto, not so much your situation with Carey Price, because Carey Price was, I don't want to call him an overpay. He was the best goalie in the world at that time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm going to call it more Toronto, where they just have poor cap management. Yeah. And you're going to lock a lot of money up in your left side, and you're going to have Bo Byram play your bottom pair or Owen Power play your bottom pair. There's no way. They deserve better than that. Or you can switch them to the right side, but I don't know you there. All I got to say, though, Buffalo fans, good luck.
Well, they have over $19 million invested already in Dahlin and Owen Power. You got to think Byram's going to probably get about $7 million.
Don't forget about the 4.8 they've already invested in Matthias Samuelsson.
Yeah. Oh, Bo Byram's going to see Rasmus Dahlin got that value. Owen Power got that value. I have a cup. What do I get?
$6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get $2 million.
I like what we're doing in that.
To be fair,
doing from the blue line out.
To be fair, when I played hockey, I had a cup. I mean, that's what protected my balls.
Not that cup.
Oh, okay. It was just I wasn't sure.
Come on, grow up.
Call the cup.
I called it. I didn't call it a Calder, but I called it.
I think what helps Buffalo right now is have a combined $3 million invested in. So when they have to eventually pay Devin Levi when his time to get paid is, I think it's after next year. That's going to be interesting too. He's probably not going to get too much of that first contract, but
they might get him on a bridge deal because he spent time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. He gets a little 2-3-year bridge deal.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing why I say Buffalo won that trade, because I think it was things that both teams needed in a sense, but I don't think Buffalo really needed that. They didn't really need Bo Byram. I was kind of surprised they made that move, but it's been a wonderful acquisition. I think it was a great acquisition for them. But now they're losing kind of at the centerpiece, in my opinion. They lost Sam Reinhart, they lost Jack Eichel, they lost Casey Middlestad. Who else are you going to give up?
Okay, and they're going to keep giving up on their forwards.
And don't we have to wait? Like, what if Colorado wins the cup? Then can you still say they lost? And Middlestad played a big part.
I don't know if Casey Middlestad would say that he played the big part. I would say Nathan McKinnon and Cal McCarr are studs.
We don't know. It's not.
Well, keep in mind, to win a cup, you need a complete roster. Middlestad gives them that. He gives them that second line center they needed.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to win the cup because of Casey Middlestad. You know what I mean? They're going to win the cup because their star players are performing.
No, yes and no. You don't just win because your star player is out there. You win because of also the guys on the other lines.
And I'd argue that they could still win a cup with Bo Byram. So that's what I think. Bo Byram.
No, I get that, but I'm saying for Colorado, if they win a cup this year, and Casey Middlestad was a good performer, then they win the trade as well. It's an even trade.
Then I'll call it even. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's even.
If Casey Middlestad shows that he was a large contributor in the playoffs to that team, then yes, I'll consider that.
Yeah, I'm saying to say one team won over the other, it's too early to tell yet.
No, I still
think that's just our first instant look at it.
It is.
I get Colorado's not winning the cup. Colorado's my second team in the NHL.
I don't know. They still could.
You don't know that for sure, though. That's the point. Is get in the playoffs, you could win. So you don't know that, and I'm just saying. So you can't judge Colorado as losing because they might also win in this trade.
I'm not.
It'll be interesting. Another trade that really caught my eye personally was a trade between the Devils and Jake Allen. Like that. That was a move I know you guys
want to know something interesting on that? A little earlier in the process, Jake Allen nixed the trade to the Devils.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this could have happened earlier. I didn't read all the details. I'll be very honest, but I read the basics of the article, and he already had nixed the deal to the Devils.
And that deal is so ironic too, because me and Cam were arguing for about a month.
But what changed for him?
He was saying second round pick. I was saying third round.
And they said,
and you might get a second. You don't know.
They basically said, "Fuck you, Cam and Alex. We're gonna give them a round 2.5 pick, and we're gonna just why." So Alex and I decided that no one won that bet, so we're just like, okay, because it could be a third, it could be a second, so we're just gonna call it a tie.
We'll put that as a to be determined. We still have to wait after the trade deadline. We didn't expect
he'll play the 41 games, dude. There's no other goalie.
Yeah, because Kakinen, I don't think
dude, with how good he's been in his first 2 games, he easily plays.
Yeah,
that.
he's gonna.
I don't think Kakinen gets re-signed.
How the rest of this year goes.
What do you mean?
And what they do in the summer, because if they end up getting a starting caliber goalie, they feel
buddy, if he plays 10 games, he only needs to play 31 next season.
It's all 41 next year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all 41 next year.
Oh, but I don't think he's playing that next year.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Depends if they reach for a goalie.
If it's 41 next year, then unless they don't add anything, which I doubt, then I think I'm going to win that.
Well, okay,
Sorry,
go ahead.
You go, Rick. No, you go, Rick. No, you go. You're old. I'll remember.
What I read also was from Jake Allen. The reason he agreed the second offer was he didn't know much about New Jersey and their goalie situation. He thought it wasn't a good situation for him to go into, and then upon research later, he realized that he's okay with the situation that's there. He just thought he was going into a much more stacked prospect, I guess, lineup or goaltender group. And he sees an opportunity for the year for him there to play a lot of hockey this coming year.
I just want to say one thing. Remember when Devils fans were trying to tell the world that Mackenzie Blackwood was a legit #1 goalie? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's been playing in San Jose.
No, even before that. I'm not using what he was in San Jose. He was garbage with the last year or two. He was playing a little hurt. I will give him that. But he was garbage that last year and a half.
Remember when they projected Corey Schneider to be the next Martin Brodeur for them?
Oh, my God. Devil fans and overrated goalies go together like fucking peanut butter and jelly.
But didn't Schneider...
They've been overrating their goalies.
He went elsewhere and it became...
Schneider played, I think, for the Capitals and Vancouver. Did he have some time?
Vancouver. Didn't he do well in Vancouver?
He did better in Vancouver.
He was
never what we thought he was going to be.
He was good in Vancouver.
He was good, but he was never great. He was never an elite goalie.
Not all goal, and you don't need a great goalie to win a cup. You don't.
You don't. If you have a good decor, it makes up for it.
You need a hot goalie. Well, you need a hot goalie. You don't necessarily need a great one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, those are the trades that stuck out to me. I mean, that it was. I wouldn't say it was like a very boring trade deadline. There were a lot of moves, but there was a few good ones that were very surprising.
It was boring overall, though.
It definitely wasn't as big as last year. Last year's was a lot better.
Tarasenko to the Senators for pennies. They didn't have a choice. I know they didn't have a choice. Alex and I kind of fought on this.
We went back and forth with this.
But they didn't have a choice. When you're strapped like that, there's no choice.
So
by the way, Alex, I know you posted on I know you're gonna disagree with it, but when you posted on Twitter and had fans just agree or disagree with you,
I posted on Twitter and it was like 60-40 me, but it was like both sides of the coin was shown there. Like
that's fine. I have 100% of the analysts on my side.
I ain't comfortable believing the 60-40 part.
Oh, I put up a vote. I got like 50 votes and like
Alex put up a vote on Twitter for a bunch of nobody fans. No offense to the nobody fans. I'm a nobody fan too, but I had 100% of the NHL analysts on my side. I win.
Do you still get?
You had one NHL analyst that you posted.
I had pretty much almost everybody. Yeah, they said that they didn't have a choice. It wasn't as what they could have gotten from, but they did.
Here's my argument for it. I'll wrap it up with that. They did it with 2 days before the deadline. I would have called their bluff and said, "Listen, I want to see if we can get better. If not, we'll come back and he's yours. If you pull the trade, fine, that's on you. We'll try to move Tarasenko for a better deal."
By that time, Florida would have found another.
To where though, Alex? Move him where to a better deal? He says,
Tarasenko
was only willing to move to Florida.
The guy says, "I have the right." I have the right to pick where I want to go. I'm only
wanted
going
to go
there.
to Florida. I understand
I'm only
that.
going there. So where are they going to trade him?
And if you think Florida didn't know that,
you only wanted to go to Florida. My point was you could have waited to make them get a little nervous and be like, crap, they're not going to move him unless if we.
But if you really want to move him and you or get nothing for him for whatever, then you got to move him, and you can't wait.
But they could have waited a little longer before doing it. If they did it like an hour before the deadline, I would have been like, all right.
I'll say this: they didn't need Tarasenko. That team does not need Tarasenko. They could have went and got another piece.
Right.
They did not need him,
Which
Alex.
they did do. They did get Tyler Koza for the fourth line.
But
yeah,
Ottawa,
they were
if you're only getting a fourth, do you really need only a fourth-round pick?
They were going to lose him anyway, so no matter what.
You're going to potentially lose him for nothing, but that's why I say you call that bluff to try to get more.
They had their hands tied. There was nothing that guy could have done. They
got 2 draft picks for him, didn't they? Not one.
They got a fourth and a conditional third that they get if they win the cup.
But they weren't. You were not going to get anything else. They knew that.
It is a shitty deal, but their hands were tied.
But
so that's my gripe with it. I'm surprised they didn't move Chikrin. That was a big one. I was surprised. I thought they were going to move him. I'm even more surprised that they did not move Shane Pinto. There was a huge hustle and bustle around that. They were going to try and shop him. No teams were interested.
Because the returns weren't good. The returns
people were not going to pay for that.
It was a buyer's market.
Ottawa holding him because his value is not as high as it can be.
No, it's not. But people were not. You're right. People were not willing to take that risk. I think that's why he wasn't moved. I'm surprised Ullmark was not moved. That was a big shock to me because
he was supposed to be, though.
He was supposed to be,
but
like 3 times
came into play.
Yep, denied him 2 times, but.
And that was part of my argument why I said he might not move. That's a big reason. I think it's more likely for the offseason.
I kind of disagree. Like I said, I don't disagree that he isn't going to be moved. I just disagree that I think we would have gotten more value out of him right now. But you want to know what? Whatever. I'm happy that Ullmark and Swayman are here because I love the goalie hugs.
Oh, Ullmark loves it in Boston. He probably won't use it for any team that they try using it for in the summer, too. They're going to have to facilitate it.
I love it next year if we don't get rid of him, which I'd, again, be surprised if we don't.
I think you will this time.
If he loves Boston so much, I would love for you to just take a pay cut because I have to tell you, Ullmark, I love you. And as much as of a good goalie as you've been for this team, you're not going to
have 1 year left after this year?
Yeah, he's not going to be the starter. So it's been.
Oh, no. He'll take a pay cut if they end up trying to resign him. But then you hold up Boosie, so that's the issue. So I think they will move him in the offseason. I think they'll move him to a team that's not on a 16-team no movement clause.
God, what an unfortunate last name to have, too. Brendan Bussy. Like, it's Bussy. It's the kind of, yeah.
I call it Bussy. Right in the Bussy.
But he's good, too. Here. Yeah, we love him here.
We had a good trade deadline. We got a first-round pick for Sean Walker.
Yeah,
he was playing good in Colorado.
Think about this though. Look at all the way the markets were set for all these wingers, but then Sean Walker goes and gets you a first. But
Fleece and Danny Briere. Now, mind you,
what the other skaters were going for, they weren't going for a lot. Like, you know what I mean?
More.
Actually, Montreal didn't move much because you weren't going to get anything.
2 more names that moved that I was kind of surprised. Evgeny Kuznetsov to Carolina.
Good for him. I'm happy he's got another shot.
I love.
Wait. Why are you surprised after they waived him and put him like in the minors?
They waived him because of his he was having issues. He was in the NHL.
Yeah. But why were you surprised then?
He's been a critical piece to that team.
I know, but considering everything,
why would you not consider that a surprise? I mean, he's been a critical piece to that team for quite some time.
Okay, but once they waived him and it was like to put him in the minors, it wasn't to waive him and then he's going to play. How are you surprised they moved him though?
Why wouldn't why wouldn't you? A pivotal piece to that 28. It was 28.
But they waived him.
Yeah, that
waived him and said he's not coming back on the team.
Again, that still surprises me that a guy that devoted so much to that team they were done with them. That wouldn't surprise anybody.
You know what?
No, I understand of what he did, but
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't pressure from the league and Bettman's office to do that.
Maybe. I'd still say that was a surprise. I'm not going to say it was a huge surprise. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, what the hell? I'm just going to be like, oh, wow, they actually moved him.
I wasn't genuinely surprised. I knew I had a feeling he was going to get moved, but I didn't think it'd be to Carolina. I thought he'd be out.
I can see you be surprised at that. He's doing well there, apparently.
I was screaming, send him to Boston.
Yeah.
But, whatever. And then Jake Gensel.
I guess sounds pretty strong with being a first-round exit again.
Yeah. And then Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel was the other name.
That was Carolina.
Monsters.
Yeah, again, not a surprise.
Pittsburgh in that trade.
How would you say that's not a surprise? Again, Jake Gensel, who won 2 cups.
Well, everybody knew that Gensel was getting moved.
Right. Everybody knew they were moving him.
You didn't even get a first-round pick for him.
Okay, again, the return is a surprise or the destination, but not that the guy was going to move. That's my point.
No, not the move. It's the return that's a joke.
No, I would say I was surprised that they were moved because of the way Crosby spoke about it, and like Crosby leads that team, and I think there was a huge surprise there.
Dubas finally admitted it's time we got to start getting younger.
No, I don't disagree with that. So yeah, that's why he brought in Erik Karlsson.
And Crosby said that he's okay. He's okay in the offseason if they move him
to Montreal. That will happen.
Did you guys not see that? Crosby said,
I don't see it. No, I can't.
I think he ends up staying in Pittsburgh. Realistic.
I don't know if they'll do it, but he said he's okay to it.
The things that to Pittsburgh, the things that Crosby has done to build that hockey community in Pittsburgh again, it's been tremendous. His philanthropy, the person he is off the ice, everything Crosby has done for that community. That would be a huge shock to me, like the way Wayne Gretzky was traded from.
I thought it was a shock. It was a shock to me that he said that he'd be willing to. I'd like, really? I would not think.
I think it was Frank Saravelli who said that he would be shocked if Crosby got moved in the offseason. They said that he doesn't expect it, but we'll see.
But if Crosby came out and said that, then I don't think you should be shocked.
I think if he ends up getting moved, there's only one spot I could realistically see.
You got to get at least two for at minimum.
He's already said there's 3 places, apparently. Colorado, Montreal, and Toronto.
He's got to understand that in Colorado, he's not going to be the 1C.
Montreal would have to give up half their future. Colorado's the one that makes the most sense.
Right.
Colorado,
Colorado may not. Calgary's first 2027.
And Montreal's not ready for him.
Wait, what is your trade offer for Crosby?
Calgary's 2025 first because that's probably going to be a good pick. 2027 first because that's the time we're going to be fringing. And then you give him some type of forward prospect.
That ain't going to be enough for Crosby.
Whether that's a Jacob Perreault. This is a guy who said
he's a 37-year-old Crosby with like a year or 2 left.
He has no move clause. He will not move him unless Crosby has 100% control over where he moves.
You are severely undermining Crosby's value.
Agreed. I'm with Cam. 100%.
No move clause. If a team asks if he'll go to Florida, he can refuse and say, "I want to go to these 3 places."
I understand that, but this is not going to accept the deal unless if they get a value that they feel.
Yeah, you got to understand something, Harry. Like this isn't a Tarasenko situation.
What is Crosby's value? So, what is Crosby's value?
At minimum, 2 first-round picks, and I'd even say a third. The guy is still producing a point per game.
No, see, I disagree. But what I do think,
second and an A-quality prospect, you'd have to give a vote for him.
2 first.
Keep in mind, I don't think Crosby's worth that much because he's 36. He's still as good as he was 3 to 5 years ago. But he's 36. That is going to undermine. That's going to lower the value.
Yeah, I know. That's what Montreal wants to do.
Not a guy who's still scoring 100 points per season.
Yeah,
36.
That's the thing. So 2 firsts and a roster player, like a good one. That's what I
would agree more with you if this was a normal good player. This is the best player of our generation.
Jaromir Jagr is not in the same league as Crosby.
This is the best player of our generation. If you're moving Crosby,
I think I agree with you, Cam.
Yeah, yes, he is.
I'm gonna say I won that McDavid fight on the sin bin, so I'm gonna say McDavid's gonna be the best player.
Keep dreaming.
At least can't make me out.
Okay, we just got quiet.
No, whatever. I just think that you guys severely undercut Crosby.
No, I'm actually with you on this, Cam. I think if I had to put a trade package again,
there goes a spin bin episode, Alex. Thanks a lot, you jackass. Like we're trying to make money. You
were on Team McDavid. I said he was. I was on Team Crosby for that debate. But My point is, I would put, say, a trade package. I don't care if he's 36. This guy still has at least 3 extremely good years left.
Maybe longer. Maybe. Depends. The guy's hockey IQ is fucking dumb.
And I'm going to say
he'll be
this.
playing until he's 43.
He almost missed 2 seasons due to concussion. So that's 2 less years of mileage on his leg. So you got to put that into perspective too.
Yeah, but you got to take into account too that at his age.
There is a concussion, but he has less wear and tear on the body.
Alex, I understand what you're saying, but at 36, I understand like these are athletes, but that age that he's at right now, I would be more inclined to agree with you if he was slightly younger, but that's where I'm going to lean with Harry and Matt, where like you got to take the age into consideration there.
I think he's going to be borderline elite till age 39. No bullshit.
No, I think he'll be elite until like he retires, but I think because that hockey IQ is too good, I think his passing will not stop. But I think the way he plays will change
anytime soon. I think he still has another 4 years left.
He will slowly develop into more of a two-way defensive forward with a good passing game. That's what he will eventually develop into.
But I genuinely think, he's at least 2 first-round picks and an A+ prospect. Like
that's what I say.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well,
just
then
say,
Crosby's never going to be moved. You're not going to find.
That's why I say I don't.
Or stupid enough.
Reason why I say
basically 3 first-round picks.
Fuck you! I don't care.
Well, wait, and it's not 3 teams that are a team. It's these 3 teams. It's where he wants to go. He's going to have a choice of where he goes.
And here's the thing.
But that's why I say it's not the Tarasenko situation. So it's not like, let's wait to see if we can call their bluff. It's like, okay, fine. You don't want to pay that price. Someone who really wants a cup will.
But keep in mind,
they'll pay it.
But keep in mind, and I know these are not all the same.
Harry's broken again.
He's players like Crosby. But you got to look into what happened with the Canadians and with you got to look at what happened with Montreal. And again, I'm not saying these players are anywhere near the level of Crosby, but Jeff Petrie, they treated him well, traded him to Detroit. Casey DeSmith, they traded him to a place where he wanted to play. If the Penguins want to do right by Crosby, they will take a little bit less to deal him to a place where he can potentially win a cup in his last couple of years. I think that if Crosby comes out to management and says, I want to move, they're going to do right by the player. They're not going to go for the highest possible return.
I think Crosby is going to do right by the Penguins. I think
he wants to go out with a cup. He wants to go out winning.
He's going to absolutely. He's already said it. He said it in an interview. He's going to do right by the team.
And I agree with Cam in that.
Yeah, me too. I agree with Cam in that.
He already said in an interview wherever he moves, he wants to do it right by the Penguins and for himself. So it's going to be mutually
balancing out.
And by himself. He wants to do right by both.
But if Dubas comes in and he just says if he says like, oh, they're really undercutting your value, Crosby's gonna be like, I don't want to. Are you kidding me? He's gonna also want to have like his value and name, like placed on there. So I think it'll be fine. I think he'll get 2 first-round picks and an A+ prospect. That is exactly what you'll get for him. There's no question about it.
I mean,
side note to that.
I mean, again,
what Carolina paid for Jake Gensel was a joke.
Yeah, Carolina fleeced Pittsburgh in that deal. 100% agreed.
You think Michael Bunting is equivalent to Jake Gensel? Yeah, you're.
It's possible. Maybe Crosby would have moved this.
Keep in mind, that's what this dude took for Jake Gensel.
They were going to lose Jake Gensel.
Playing arguably better than Crosby this season in terms of the points. You look at that. I mean,
and what?
I don't.
Well, that's why he didn't move. There. But you could argue Crosby might have moved this season at the deadline, but the buyers weren't going to pay the price. You could argue
that.
Time to move on. Anyway, that's the deadline.
Let's move on. What are we moving on to?
Let's talk about the playoff race.
Let's talk about the wild
what a friggin' mess the 3 final playoff spots has been. The 2 wild cards, the Metro 3, and there's about 4 or 5 other teams still 2 other teams just outside, and then 3 other teams dangling on. So let's read these standings real quick, and we'll break this down a little bit.
Sorry, Metro Alex, I just want to interrupt. I just want to interrupt you for 1 second because I want to go back to the Jake Gensel versus Sidney Crosby points. Jake Gensel's played 54 games, has 57 points plus 13. Sidney Crosby, 67 games played, 68 points plus 5. They're very equivalent. I wouldn't say Jake Gensel is having that much of a better year.
All right. Anyway, so here's your race right now in the Eastern Conference for both the wild card and the Metro 3. Currently, the Flyers hold the Metro 3 spot, 34-26-8, 14 games remaining, 76 points. Tampa Bay holds the first wild card spot, 36-25-6, 78 points, 15 games remaining. Detroit, 34-28-6, 74 points, 14 games remaining. Washington, who is currently playing as we speak, don't know the score, 32-25-9, 16 games remaining, 73 points. Isles, 29-23-15, in reality 29-38, and somehow in this garbage fest. 15 games remaining, 73 points. And then Pittsburgh, 69 points. Buffalo, 69 points. Devils, 68 points. With 15, 14, and 14.
They're not in the wild card. They're not even remotely close in the wild card race, Alex. I don't think we need to go down that line.
Teams on life support, but it's realistically likely Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Detroit, the Islanders, and Washington battling for 3 playoff spots. And here's the thing.
I would throw Buffalo in there.
Buffalo's in the Penguins have the same record, and the Pens have a game in hand. So, in all fairness, if you're going to throw Buffalo in there, you're going to have to throw Pittsburgh.
I'll throw Pittsburgh in there just in case. That's why I say throw the Devils in there, too. I mean,
Devils are 1 point behind that. Yeah.
I'll throw those 3 teams as a life support teams.
Yeah.
So, listen to this, how ugly this has been. Last 10 games for each of these teams. Philadelphia Flyers are 4-5-1 in their last 10.
What's with Harry? Can't keep
Tampa Bay Lightning have been playing well. They're 6-3-1. Detroit Red Wings, 2-8-0. Washington Capitals, 6-4-0. They've been playing decent. Isles, 6-3-1, but they've lost 4 straight. So they've been falling apart too.
They've lost 1 straight.
No, they've lost 4 straight.
They've lost 1 straight.
They've lost 4 straight. They have an overtime loss in their last. I mean, they lost to the Rangers, had an OT loss, and they had 2 other losses before that.
I'm looking at NHL.com right now.
Yeah, they have 1 regulation loss in a row.
Yeah,
and had an OT loss.
Yeah, they won't show. It won't show it as like on the streak an OT loss.
But overall, they've lost 4 straight. They've only got 1 point out of those 4 games.
They've lost 2 straight then, because if you're not counting the OT loss, if they're it says their last 10, they're 6-3-1.
Yes, they won 6 in a row, and they've lost their last 4. They've lost 4 straight.
It says, okay, I disagree with you, but okay.
How do you do you want me to read off the Isles' last 4 games?
I'm just going by what NHL.com is saying. It's right in front of me.
Isles' last 4 games. Lost 5-2 to the Rangers. Lost 4-3 to the Senators in overtime. Lost 4-0 to the Sabres. Lost 3-0 to the Kings.
Okay, so then NHL.com is wrong.
That's what I'm saying. They just have it as 1 regulation loss.
No, right. That OT loss.
It's a different category.
Right. So it's still only 1 loss in the streak, but they have lost 4
and then they would swap back. So it's 4 losses in a row, but they have them as different categories.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, Pittsburgh 3-6-1 in their last 10. Actually, 3-7-1 in their last 11, just to twist the knife a little more. And New Jersey 3-7-0. No one wants these spots, it seems like. It's been an absolute mess. The only 2 teams that have been playing halfway decent lately are Tampa Bay and Washington, because even the Isles are falling apart now.
I just want to bring up a point on Washington. They have 2 games in hand on the Red Wings, so they could easily – if they win tonight, they actually catch the Red Wings.
So here's the thing with Washington. I'm glad you bring that up. Yes, I agree. They have the games in hand category. However, they have the 4th most difficult schedule the rest of the way. Their schedule is tough when you look at it. I did a little research on this. I think it was as of yesterday. So these numbers may not be 100% accurate, but as of before yesterday's game, the Washington Capitals had the 4th hardest remaining schedule. The New York Islanders had the 11th hardest, and the Philadelphia Flyers had the 18th hardest. If I had to look the hardest right now, give me 15 seconds, and I can give you the numbers now for this. Based off of the Tankathon website, the Washington Capitals have the 4th most difficult. Buffalo Sabres have the 8th most difficult. Pittsburgh Penguins, the 9th most difficult. New Jersey Devils, the 10th most difficult. The New York Islanders have the 16th most difficult. The Philadelphia Flyers have the 17th most difficult. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning has the 27th most difficult. So they got an easy one then. I think it's the 5th easiest, to be honest, the 6th easiest. So, based off these 7 teams, realistically, well, 8 teams, realistically 5, fighting for 3 playoff spots.
I think you missed one important category. The Washington Islanders, and if you want to throw the Penguins in there, have been not the Penguins. Washington Islanders have been heavily outscored.
Yes, they have.
So that can't bode well.
29-38 on the year, and
That
will
can't
lose
bode
every
well.
tiebreaker.
Somebody needs to put headphones in. Is it me?
It's not me.
You're not wearing headphones, right? Besides me?
No, I got Mike.
Yeah, sorry everyone. We're having a little bit of background noise.
Yeah, a little bit of. I'm trying to figure out one of us.
I don't hear it anymore though. It looks like it's gone.
I hear it.
No, I just heard it there.
It's fine. It's okay.
Anyway.
It's minor.
It's you can hear it a little bit, but not.
No, that's bad. Shit.
Maybe it's an echo.
Nope, it's the headphones.
Huh.
My guess is it's Alex.
But anyway,
yeah, fuck you, Alex.
No, it's not because of that. My guess is it's Alex. I'm gonna put headphones.
I can hear it though.
That's why it's you. You can't hear it.
No, I can hear it.
Oh,
it's
okay, I got headphones in. I eliminated one.
I heard it when you spoke, Ray. Anyway,
sorry, finish your talk.
But anyway, so we have 8, realistically 5, but if you want to say 8, we'll say 8 teams fighting for 3 playoff spots. What teams do we predict get in, and what do you think the biggest hurdle for each team? Let's start with the biggest hurdle for each team the rest of the way out of these 8 teams.
I think Washington can sneak in if they can catch Philly. Because right now Philly could be in danger of falling out. Detroit is also in danger of falling out, and I think Tampa is in danger of falling out, even though Tampa's playing well. I think those 4 teams that I mentioned in total. I think Washington can catch one of the top 3, and I think one of those top 3 definitely fall out. And I'm not confident in Tampa yet. I still. There's something about them that screams that they might just lose it. Like on that final stretch, they might.
I think Tampa is the team that I'm most confident that makes it, just because they've been finding their game lately and their schedule is so damn easy the rest of the way. Just to throw a couple of the games they have remaining, Tampa Bay. They have a game against the Sharks. They got a game against the Ducks. They got a game against Columbus. They got a game against Ottawa. They have a game against Montreal. Hardest games they have left, they have 1 against Boston, 2 against Toronto, 1 against the Avalanche, 1 against the Oilers. They got a West Coast road trip coming up, I think, in California. So even though it's very inferior teams coming up, you never know. But
I like Tampa's.
I think Tampa gets
and that
in.
4-point cushion is not as easy as you think in these last 15 games to make up.
And I think Tampa has the tiebreaker over everyone in regulation wins, if I remember correctly.
Yep, they do. Yep.
Washington, my big fear is that schedule. Like I said, they've got a very difficult schedule the rest of the way. Just to mention a couple of them, 2 against Detroit. I'm sorry, that's the easy ones. Hardest ones I got, they still got 2 against the Bruins, 2 against Tampa, 1 against Tampa, 2 against Toronto, 1 against Winnipeg, and 2 against Carolina. That's a murderer's row right there. They have, I think, 16 games left. I just named half of that against really good teams. So they're going to have to earn it if they're going to get in. They're going to have to beat some of these good teams. I think they're going to have to win half of those games I just named minimum.
Yeah, especially to make up ground on somebody at the end of the season. It's really difficult.
The thing with the Flyers that scares me personally is our D-core is decimated right now. Drysdale, Ristolainen, and Seal are all hurt. I'm not confident in Drysdale or Ristolainen potentially coming back.
I heard they're not. I heard they're not.
I think Steeler will be back. I don't know when, but it's nothing's been announced at Drysdale and Risto. But there hasn't been. It doesn't seem good that there hasn't been an update yet to this point.
Yeah, from what I know, I think I doubt Drysdale's coming back for the rest of the year, at least the regular season.
I think he's avoided surgery, but I think it's one of those injuries that is just going to take too long to be back unless if Philly makes a deep run. which I doubt happens.
I think they're gonna handle it. I think they handle Matt Poitras, even if he is ready. Take the rest.
I
of
have
the time.
no issue with that too. Drysdale's 21. You
No
want to make
sense.
sure this dude.
Yeah.
They're not coming
agree.
back. I saw an article where they said they're both not coming back.
I think
Risto
Steeler
and
will be
Drysdale.
back. But
Yeah,
I don't-
Risto and Drysdale.
Risto
weaker.
is. I think Drysdale's is the most furthest away, and I think Steeler.
They're not gonna the bare bones of it. They're not coming back. That's the bare
Yeah.
bones of it. There's no need to kind of sugarcoat it any more than we kind of already have.
Yeah.
With,
No,
with
I
the-
know.
with
I
them.
mean, especially
They're
with
not coming back.
Drysdale, they're not gonna force him back.
Unless you guys make the
final.
final.
Have him-
back.
Maybe.
God forbid he gets crunched again and really fucks his shoulder up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you got to think about career problems.
So,
I don't want to beat the dead horse with them because it's for sure they're not coming back. They're not going to risk the health.
So when it comes to that, if the Flyers are going to make it, they're going to need more from their blue line because it's been terrible lately. The last 3 games against Tampa, Boston, and Toronto, they've allowed 6 or more goals in all 3 of them. So with that being said, that blue line has to step the hell up. And that starts with launching Mark Stahl to Istanbul and him never stepping foot on the ice again. But
Why, they don't have ice in Istanbul? Maybe they
he
do.
is so garbage. But anyway, Islanders. This team here is irritating me at the fact that they're still in with a 29-38 record with their OTL merchants. I will say they've been, before this 4-game losing streak, they were playing a lot better. They play a lot more aggressive, I've noticed, under Patrick Waugh. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Isles are just – they're a team that just – it seems like half of their core is just not playing up to standard. Like, outside of Barzal and obviously Sorokin and Dawson.
Nelson. I have Brock. He's playing well, I think.
Brock Nelson's been all right, but Anders Lee's been terrible this year. What
He's been pretty bad.
a fall from grace he's had.
Just this year?
Anders Lee isn't even at 30 points right now. So
I'm trying to think what something you said I wanted to comment on. I still think that goals again. Oh no, this is what I want to say. With like 15 or so games left, these teams still have time to get hot at the right time, but they better do it soon.
agreed.
So if they don't start turning it around the next couple of games, I don't see how, they can overtake the teams that are ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with that, Rick shut everybody up.
You have a tendency to do
so-
that, Rick.
I mean, looking at the stand.
Oh, he speaks. Oh,
They do
Let Nordy speak. He doesn't do it much.
Yeah, it's because Alex takes up the airtime anyway.
You don't speak even when they speak.
No, honestly, for me, looking at the standings right now, I don't think Washington or the Islanders nab a wild card spot. I do think the Islanders have a good chance of catching you. I can never say no to Sorokin. I just think he's that good. If he gets hot,
I can agree with that.
the Islanders can go on a heater, and I mean they're only 3 points behind you.
Yeah, they're 3 points back, and they have 1 game ahead.
Out of the teams that between Washington, the Islanders, and I don't think Pittsburgh's making the playoffs, but just because they're not that far out, I'll throw them there. I mean, I because of the Sorokin effect, I think the Islanders got the best chance out of those 3 teams at catching you, or at very least getting a wild card spot.
I want to bring up a point that Rick made about, catching 4 points at the end of the season is difficult. I'm like, not really.
sure.
Especially not if you have Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah. Not in the current situation.
And the Islanders are right there.
I will say this, Rick. It does depend on overall health of the team and the way the team is playing. I mean, look at Detroit. Detroit's playing terribly.
On how you win and when the timing of your wins are what's super important. Because if you're not winning when the other team is losing, and winning when they're winning, you're not catching them.
And that's what this race has been. Everyone just keeps tripping over themselves. Like,
not even is that it's health of the team. And that's why I look at Philadelphia.
The Isles, Devils, and Red Wings all had golden opportunities to take a step forward in this. Isles crapped their pants to the Rangers. I mean, I won't say crap their pants because the Rangers are good. Devils got thoroughly outplayed by Vegas, even though they only lost 3-1. I watched that game. Vegas owned play that game. And then Detroit had a chance against Pittsburgh to just put a little bit of distance on that playoff spot, even just a smidge, and then Pittsburgh kicked them in the dick. Like, no one wants it.
With skates on? Ouch.
I think Philly has.
Did that happen to Austin Matthews last year? Didn't he get kicked in the nuts?
I wish.
No, I'm pretty sure it did after a face-off. I was against the Hurricanes.
Poor baby.
Whoever took the face-off went down. A skate came up and caught Matthews in between the legs.
Oh,
yeah. I think the Flyers could fall out and maybe Washington or Islanders take their place, or Washington could also win out. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Washington and the Isles make it and Philly falls out and Detroit falls out, because Detroit is a hot mess right now.
I don't think Washington's getting in. I could see the Isles get in based off of what Matt said with Sorokin.
Buddy, they're a point behind Detroit.
Cool. They have the fourth hardest schedule left.
With 2 games in hand. I'm just saying.
Do you see Washington's schedule?
Yeah, but you want to know what, Alex? I have to tell you, like, even the best teams undermine the worst teams. I mean, look at Montreal. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of teams just say, like, oh, they're at the bottom of the league. We don't really need to try that hard.
I do want to mention one thing that's going to be massive in this. Washington still has 2 games left against Detroit. That is going to be the rough.
Those 2 games, honestly, those 2 games are the season for both those teams.
I agree.
Both those games go Washington's way or Detroit's way. I think that seals it. If they split, it might come down to the last game.
If they split, I would not be surprised. Washington has to start beating good teams. I don't know if they can show that because they can't score. Lindgren's been carrying them.
Again, that's why I say I would not be surprised if Washington catches Detroit and if the Islanders catch you. I'm not going to be surprised in that. It is 1 point. Like that. That's not 4 or 5 points. That's
1 point is different. 1 point.
Like that's so manageable. Do you have any idea how close that actually is? Like that's an OTL thing. Like that. It's not even a joke. So in terms of the East, I think the most likely scenarios is that Philadelphia could fall out, the Islanders take, or the Washington Capitals take it. Detroit falls out, or the Capitals or the Islanders take it. One of those 2 things can happen, or both of them can happen. Mm-hmm. It's a high possibility. Whether you can bring strength of schedule into it or not, it all depends on who shows up to play that night. And then there's the desperation piece to it too. Yeah, you think the Rangers, who have solidified pretty much all but guaranteed themselves in a playoff spot, are really gonna fight hard against a bell-bottom team? And I don't think so.
Carolina's right on their tails, and home ice in the second round could be huge.
Possibly, yeah, maybe, but I don't think they're gonna play that team as hard. I really don't think so. They're not gonna risk injury. They're not gonna risk a lot of these things, Alex. And it's a different year this year too, because you just can't rest players like you normally would because the cap is so tight.
I would agree with that if it was like the last week of the season. If they're like last 3 games or so.
That's still 3 games.
But do you know when the Rangers play the Islanders?
With the points race too, I'm saying those 3 games, that's what, 6 points? A possible 6 points? Look at how tight the standings are. You're telling me a possible 6 points don't matter.
I didn't say that. Who plays the Rangers those last 3 games? Who plays Vancouver, Boston, etc.? That's the thing.
You're talking about teams that have already solidified their playoff spots. I'm talking about teams that could gain.
I understand that, but you don't know. You're saying this assuming that like the Islanders or Washington automatically have games against the Rangers or the Bruins or Vancouver or whatever.
I think it's a possibility. I think it's being undercut. I think their ability to actually gain on those teams is completely being undercut.
Oh, I'm not doubting that. I just think the Islanders have a better chance than Washington because the Islanders have an equal chance, and they have an easier schedule.
I think they have an equal chance.
All right, let's move on to what we could all talk to. Go ahead, Harry.
First, I do want to say the Red Wings' schedule, their easiest side is very, very key to the race. They have 2 against the Capitals, like we mentioned. They have 1 against Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders. So they all still have those games left to play. The Islanders still have 2 against the Devils, which I know the Devils aren't really in it, but they could be. The Penguins, Red Wings, and then it's just the Canadiens, Jackets, and Hawks as their easiest. There is still a lot of competition within that own division. It's not like it's exclusively against the other division, the other conference. There is a lot of infighting that's going to be going on in the last 15 games, and it's really tough to call. But if I'm being honest, I'm going to say Buffalo can get in. I think that the Islanders overtake Philly. I think it does end up being Tampa, unfortunately, in the second wildcard spot. I'm not doubting Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He has been playing some of the best hockey in the National Hockey League for a goaltender since December. If the Sabres could start scoring more, they'd be a deadly team, and that keyword being if. If Tage Thompson remembers that he's a 50-goal scorer, he can absolutely carry the team easily into the playoffs.
For Buffalo, for me, it's too little too late. They put it together too late.
That's my point, too. And whenever Buffalo gets close,
they don't play the Canadiens every game for the rest of the season. Otherwise, Jeff Skinner would score like 30 goals.
Too many teams to jump over to get there.
I agree with that. It's not a giant gap, but it's the amount of teams. You have to start winning, and you need a lot of teams to start losing. You can't let one of these teams go on a bender.
No, it's like I said, you got to win when they lose and win when they win.
Well, with that being said, then let's take a look at the West, because that's not as – I don't want to consider that as tight of a race because I think it's not going to really change that much.
It's the Central Division that stands out to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go into the granularity of which Alex went, but the wild card teams right now in wild card 1, you have the Nashville Predators 82 points, Vegas Golden Knights 79 points, St. Louis 75, Minnesota Wild 74, and then there's Calgary at 71. And I think Calgary is where it stops because that's the stretch. I don't think Calgary gets in, number one. Number two, Minnesota can make a push, but it's got to be one hell of a strong one. Right now, they're on a 1-0, like they lost their last game and then OT, and they're 5-3-2 in their last 10. St. Louis is 6-3-1 in their last 10 with a 4-win streak, which is kind of amazing. So they have a propensity to kind of squeak in there if they can catch Vegas. Wouldn't it be a fucking surprise though if Vegas falls out with the acquisitions they made?
And all 31 other teams cheered in unison.
But can I say this about St. Louis? 4-game win streak to get where they are right there. They got to continue that to keep that climb.
Yeah.
That's hard.
But it's only 4 points, and I got to say, I know you say 4 points is a lot, but that's 2 games. And the way, even with all those acquisitions, Vegas is on a 1-game win streak. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. Don't be surprised that these things it's 4 points, but if you lose 2 games, that matters.
I need to bring something up real quick.
Granted, Vegas has a game in hand.
How about the balls of the Minnesota Wild the other night? Pulling that goalie in OT, 3-on-3 to win the game against I forgot who they played, but now here's the thing about
Wild.
Who the Wild played against.
Yep, the Predators.
It was the Preds. Okay.
Nuts.
How about this? Minnesota did that. I did not know this rule. If
me neither.
they pulled the net and the Preds scored there, the Wild would have lost the overtime point.
They don't get the loser point.
I did not know that was a rule. If you pull the goalie in OT, when it's even strength hockey, that if they score on your empty net, you don't get anything. That
has been my favorite obscure rule that now everybody knows.
Are you Minnesota Wild for doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it this way.
Ballsy.
It's ballsy, but that's the coach, and that's John Hines. Not a great coach. I don't think that's a smart decision.
John Hines sucks, but I will give.
No, but Rick, you got to understand that the position that team is in, it's high risk, high reward.
Yep.
And at that point, if you believe that if this team can get to the playoffs and that's all it takes, then you make the necessary risk. So I wouldn't be surprised in a similar situation later on before the season ends, if they're just like, guys, this OT determines whether or not we make the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries another ballsy move just to get that extra point to launch them into the playoffs.
Yeah,
he could do a conservative approach, or he can do a very aggressive approach, but if I'm the coach and be like, you know what, guys, I believe in you. Let's do this shit. Go for it. Imagine.
Okay.
As ballsy as it is, it's also kind of, you can look at it in multiple ways. You could say it's very stupid. It's very ballsy. But at the same time, if you got nothing left to lose, why not just go anyway? Because if you lose, let's just put it this way: if you win, you're in. If you lose in any fashion, you're out. If I'm the coach and we're like, fuck it, because we don't really lose anything.
So what you're from that standpoint, what you're saying kind of also is, if you're down 4-0, third period's about to start, just keep your goalie out.
No, I'm not Patrick Roy.
Wait a minute, Cam. Didn't the Bruins do that when they were playing Ottawa back in 2016? They were down like 4 or 5-1. They pulled them at like 10 minutes to go.
I don't remember.
I do. We were playing for that final playoff spot with you guys that year.
But I mean, I get your point, Cam. Though I do get your point. It's valid. I do get it, but not something.
But pulling your goalie at 4-0 in regulation is not the same as pulling your goalie in an OT that determines your fate in the playoffs. Like, you know what I mean? That's different. If I'm already losing 4-0 in the third, then I'm just gonna be like, you know what, guys, let's see if we can get a couple back and then go from there. But I'm not gonna worsen the situation. I
went out with a girl once and she told me, "Don't you ever pull your goalie unless I tell you." So,
I don't. Oh God! Well, I hope your goalie made a couple saves because he needed to bail you out of that one.
She got shutouts. That girl.
Oh well, I don't know if that's good or bad for your save percentage.
Wasn't very good for my my ego.
Oh well, that's okay. I guess.
Ring 10 bells for that one. As a great Eddie, oh wow, I'm blanking on him.
Olczyk.
No, not Eddie Olczyk.
Oh my God! This is going to be a whole nother 20 minutes of Alex trying to.
The former number one guy for NBC. I'm blanking on his name.
Doc Emmerich?
Doc Emmerich. Thank you.
Where'd you get Eddie from then?
Well, Doc and Eddie were like.
They were the pair.
Okay. Eddie was the color commentator. I mean, was the.
Liam between the benches.
I rarely heard Doc Emmerich, so.
Liam, Mike, and Keith in the studio. Good times.
Yep.
I love Doc Emmerich. He was my favorite.
Get his dick out of your mouth, Alex. It's already filled with Giroux.
Yeah, how many can you fit in there?
I give him Doc Emmerich credit. Doc Emmerich was one of my favorite announcers. He's probably my second favorite announcer in all of sports.
Listen, if you can fit more than one, you should get into porn.
Well, I mean, takes one to know one.
That has nothing to do with it, no.
Oh, yes.
I got a small mouth. See, it's very small.
No, we're not going there. This is not the porning around podcast. This is the pucking around podcast. Christ almighty, guys. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Let's move on to the central race.
Where would it go?
What do you mean? It's the whole entire race, dude. I just mentioned the teams that are in it. Calgary is, I swear,
the wild card aspect.
So let's ask the same question. Which teams get in?
I don't think it changes.
No, I don't either.
I agree with that. 100%. I think we're gonna all agree with that. I don't think it changes either.
I don't think it changes.
I don't think the Knights fall out, the Golden Knights, and Nashville looks like they're making a push. They have been for like a month now. It seems like they haven't slowed down.
Yeah,
Alex,
I took a brief look at the schedule for Vegas and St. Louis down the stretch. It might get close, but I think Vegas will be able to pad their point lead just enough.
Yeah, and again, you know what though, Matt? They have to with those acquisitions they made. They have to.
And also,
they did not sign Noah. They did not re-sign Noah Hannafin. So if they don't make the playoffs, they will lose Noah. I don't think Noah stays there.
Yeah, but look at the goal differentials, right? The two teams, like they have a high. I don't know, the word's not coming, but they're in green. And the other two that we're talking about, they're in red. And I think there's a big difference there. If you can't score, especially this time of the year, I don't know how you advance.
Yeah, but you want to know what? St. Louis is only a -11 and Minnesota's a -7. So that could be like the difference of like 2-3 games of where they just had very bad games where a lot of goals were scored against them. Like, you know what I mean? That's how that works. The goal differential is just...
It's +15, +16 on the other side. Plus, you just said Vegas just added. they should be fine.
They did, but Thomas Hertel isn't playing. He can't.
He should be back for around, in a couple of weeks, from what I heard.
And Mark Stone is
falling out. There's too much talent on that team.
And
yeah, they're going to be fine.
But it's 4 points. It's not that. It would not surprise me that if they just continue on the streak they're in, being 4-5-1, if that's the record that they continue, and Minnesota and the Blues continue the streak that they're on, it would not surprise me that it is a possibility where it happens.
One thing I will
say, that win streak for St. Louis, how many more games can that go at this time of year?
I don't know. It depends it depends.
I know, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Unlikely. I do want to throw one thing out there with Vegas. They're also tied with the Kings in points and games played, so they could easily jump them.
Yeah, it could flip.
The Kings
right there you go. There's another thing that's really close there. I think Vegas and Nashville both make it, and it goes on.
I do too. I don't think we said the 8 teams that are in right now who's making it.
Yeah, personally, like I said, I don't think it changes, but it would not surprise me of the possibility of it occurring.
The possibility is there, yes, 100%, of course.
No, for sure.
It's unlikely. I think for St. Louis to say win another 4 in a row at this time of year, I think is unlikely.
I don't know. Don't count that team out. They did it before.
I will say this:
I'm kind of
Winnipeg, Colorado, Dallas. 91 points, 91 points, 91 points.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. No, that's not that. Again, we're not talking about
that's
playoffs.
Not irrelevant though, because that's for seeding. That's the difference. They're tied in points.
Yeah, but that's seeding. That's seeding for current playoff teams. Though the top, the topic is who the wild card spots who comes in. We can.
They're not falling out.
Yeah,
with those points, they're not falling out. With the difference, they're not falling out. There's no doubt.
I don't think they're not falling out. I'm just saying who's going to win that division. That's all. We're in the topic of playoffs anyway.
Again, does it really matter though? It doesn't really matter. But I mean, it's a toss-up. Who has the best schedule? Whose players step up when needed? Do they rest players at the end? Like the last 2 games, when they rest players, could sway that when they're that close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters between having home ice for 2 rounds and not having home ice for any.
Right, that is true. So so that is true. That is something for them.
That's what I'm saying. Right. That's why if there was 2 teams like the Rangers and Hurricanes out east right now, I wouldn't really care as much. The fact you have 3 teams completely tied in points, that close. The only difference is games played.
Does anybody have games in hand or?
Yes. So Winnipeg's played 67 games. Colorado's played 68. Dallas 69.
Yeah. So it goes down in order. So Winnipeg could secure it more or less. But again, it's tied in points. But like I said, in terms of
Dallas hops Colorado. I think Dallas hops Colorado, even despite that.
In terms of the playoff race, I don't think anything really changes on who's in, on who's out. I like I said, the only team that I think has a chance of getting in would be St. Louis.
And actually, you know what, Alex, I'm going to agree with you because, like I said, with St. Louis, Colorado's on a 6-game winning streak. How long can that go?
Yeah, they're going to eventually start fading a little bit. I think Dallas is better equipped. They're the most, in my opinion, that is potentially the most complete team in the West. I think on paper, that team's very good.
Well, they're all very good.
But I don't see a hole in Dallas. I can point out holes in other teams.
Well, unless anyone else has any other thoughts, I think that does it. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have overtime tonight. It's unfortunate, but that's okay. We went overtime for you. So I think that we'll substitute.
I'll say this, Cam, if I'm you, I'm hoping the Bruins lose because right now the Bruins have the President's Trophy for the second year. Oh, yeah,
trust me. I saw that. I'm like, please, God, no. Please no. Please, no.
I mean, the Panthers get a game in hand, but that could...
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed my dad joke.
If you go by points percentage, though, both Florida and the Rangers are technically ahead of the Bruins.
Oh, I know.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we do not have overtime tonight. We took you guys to overtime instead. And I hope you all enjoyed this lovely conversation. Does anyone else have anything to add before we close this bitch out?
I really hope.
Alex, shut up. You've had enough. Oh, my God. I'm going to take the air out of your lungs.
I just said I hope we don't lose any more defense to injuries. See my name.
I just wanted to make sure we need to keep your time in check. You know what we're saying? See, now he's silent. Look at that. I'm fucking believable. Do you believe that?
Of course.
Anyway,
Say
yeah, and he's not even paying attention, and Matt's off doing God knows what, and Rick and Harry are just happy to be here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our show. We hope you guys enjoyed. This will be posted on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else the fuck we post this thing, because I've lost track. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have our YouTube channel back, bitches. We are back. Viva la resistance.
Well, can I say something?
Did it.
They're watching it on the new. They're watching it so they know.
What?
Okay, I just thought that.
You're confusing me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Pucking Around podcast. We love you all so much. Rick, once again, condolences for your loss.
Thank you.
We're always here for you, buddy. We love you very much. And
I do want to add one more thing before we go.
We were so close.
Yeah, well, too bad. This guy deserves it.
God,
Wayne Simmons announced his retirement today. Second favorite Flyer from the 2010 era. I love that man. One last time. I used to say this all the time on Twitter when he scored. I'm going to say it on the podcast. Chugga, motherfuckers. It's the Wayne train. First he scores a goal, then he fucks your bitch.
I hated him in Toronto.
I love that man.
God.
I will always love Wayne Simmons. All right, now go ahead. I just need to get that off my chest.
Oh, I'm not doing that whole long spiel again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.